James, are these attacks on Kurdish communities by both Turkey and Iran coincidental?
Of course, it's difficult to say, but it would seem that indeed this is, yes, a coincidence, and it's not an organized attack on the Kurds. The thing is, the Kurds are a sprawling population that ranges many countries. There is no Kurdistan as such. They are across basically the Middle East. You can see on this map here, this yellow bit is where you have Kurdish population. So there are some in Turkey, in Syria, in Iraq, in Iran, and in Armenia as well. And of course, we have two separate reasons for these two countries, Turkey and Iran, for attacking the Kurdish people. They both claim that this is because of terrorist activity. Indeed, the Iranians say that indeed after Mahsa Amini was killed at the police station, there has been unrest across the country, and they say that indeed Kurdish opposition groups, the PDKI, and also another party that are based in Iraq, are behind this unrest, pushing and stoking dissent inside the country. And the communication of the Iranian regime clearly pushes trying to explain to the general population that they're being manipulated by Kurdish interests. Now, this is quite new. It really started a few days ago. It's been pushed, this narrative, and indeed this is resulting in these strikes that are also hitting Iraqi soil, and that, of course, is prompting reaction from the Iraqians and, of course, the United States and its partners. Now, on the other side, in Syria, it's a different story. This is an old one. Indeed, the PKK, which is the Kurdish Workers' Party, has been outlawed for years in Turkey. It is a kind of an internal war that went on for 30 years that at some stages was extremely violent. And indeed, both the Turkey, but also the United States and the Western countries consider the PKK as a terrorist organization. But on the other side of the border, in Syria, it is the YPG. And indeed, this is the YPG which constitutes the backbone of the Syrian Democratic Forces that fought against the Islamic State on the side of the international coalition. Well, indeed, their positions are being targeted. And there's some of these missiles have been falling on Kobane, which is a highly symbolic city, because this is really where these Kurdish-led forces fought one of their fiercest battles and inflicted the first real defeat on the Islamic State group. And indeed, we have now Turkey, who is firing at all these positions. One of the latest rockets fell in Ain Issa, which is just north of Raqqa, and which is a very important strategic base for the Kurds during this fight to retake Raqqa from the Islamic State group.
And we've just been hearing from the Turkish president, who says he's considering a land invasion. Is that likely to happen?
It could very well happen. First, because it's already happened. It happened back in 2016, 18 and 19, when indeed the Turks, took control, for example, of Afrin, which was a region in northern Syria. They also created a sort of a self-styled buffer zone at the north of the Syrian country. Now they want to expand that buffer zone. The objective of Ankara has been all along, since the civil war in Syria, 10 years now, to create a 30-kilometer deep buffer zone inside Syria in order to push back the Kurdish menace that they see on Turkish soil. Also, they would like to relocate some of the Syrian refugees in this area. That's a long this is a political goal that's been going on for some years. And indeed, you've got to understand that politically, the timing is very important. Turkey is going to have general elections and a presidential election in 6 months' time. The economy in Turkey is in a dire situation with 85% inflation year on year. And indeed, a lot of the Turkish public is now pushing for the government to indeed expel these Syrian refugees and try and fix the economy. And this is the game that, of course, Recep Tayyip Erdogan wants to play. So there is internal politics, of course, and then external politics. Once again, the US are backing the Kurds to some extent simply because they've been their allies in the fight against the Islamic State group. But Turkey has been pushing back and indeed, as you know, blocking the candidacy of Sweden and Finland to NATO, saying that one of their conditions was indeed to be able to, so-called, and I quote, fight terrorism at home.
James André, thank you very much.